Nice. Yeah.
Yo, what's Gucci? Welcome to this week's ticker breakdown. We got Monday off this week, so it's going to be a short week. Usually that's kind of bullish, but we'll have to see. Anything can happen, right? So we're going to start off hot here with a really nice ticker. We got Roku. So you guys know the TV company. They make like smart TVs. So they got like Netflix on the TV. They got Amazon TV on the TV already plugged in. It's like the ultimate TV package or whatever. Cool company. The chart is absolutely ripping. So it's funny because in the summer I was going to play options with a few buddies. Like me and a few buddies broke this down like over a Discord chat, and then we didn't partake in the trade, and then this thing has just been absolutely ripping ever since. But I absolutely love what I see here. If we zoom in, this is on a 3-day time frame because the daily is just out of this planet. Like if you look at the daily and it's like, damn, this thing's just been going. So to make things a little bit more concise, we go to the 3-day. We had a inverse head and shoulders happening from, we'll go November 2019 to July 2020. That's like months, right? If we just do that, it's around 227 days of consolidation in the $170 range down to the 50 as low as $59 range. So that's quite a wide area to be consolidating in. But if you look closer, we happened to develop an inverse head and shoulders pattern with a triangle in there. So there's the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders. It might be a lot to see, but there's the neckline. And then we had the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. This is a bullish pattern that you want to see in the market, man. This is like, especially when it's on a bullish stock like Roku. And the consolidation, the inverse head and shoulders is almost a year long. Like that's basically screaming at you that this thing is about to break out heavy. And then what happened? We had an absolutely stellar follow through. I wish I was in this puppy. Yeah, this stock's ripping. As you could see, this 8 EMA, right? This green line, that's the 8 exponential moving average. How can you tell that a stock is in a good trend? Is when it uses the 8 exponential moving average as support. So as you can see, it breaks up above, uses that as support, keeps going, gets extended, comes back down to test the 8 EMA, doesn't fall through. Same thing happens. We get tweezer bottoms right here. What's that telling us? Like prices are going to continue ripping on this stock. Like prices are going to continue ripping until they don't. And when you can tell is when it breaks through that 8 EMA and it now starts to use it as resistance instead of support. So if this continues going and then one day you see it break under the 8 EMA and then it starts to reject it on the way down, I would then have this trend line drawn out, and I would expect it to potentially come back down to test that trend line because this trend line has been going since the bottom of March 2020. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches. It wouldn't be surprising if this thing were to come back down to correct if it wanted to. 37% to come back down to these levels is not that crazy after a move goes around 200%, right? Oh, wow, even more than that. From the March bottom, it's gone like 700%. From that breakout point, it's gone, like 260. So that's Roku. That's the first one on this week's ticker breakdown. Absolutely great investment in my opinion. HYLN. Now, this chart here is not one that I would like to invest in. As you could see, sometimes this is what happens when you just absolutely crush it too fast, right? Like it went up 220% with pretty much no consolidation, and then as you can see, there was no more buyers in this area. So what happened? We completely corrected all the way back down. Now, what do I think of this in terms of long term? I wouldn't invest in it in my opinion. I feel like there's better opportunities out there. But if you do really want to get into HYLN, I mean, there's nothing really screaming right now saying get in. There is very big, large volume and a nice big bull day. But as you can see, that candle is showing a lot of rejection We're getting a lot of rejection in this area here. When you look at the daily time frame here, there was a gap left behind, and where are we wicking from? We're wicking from that gap. So until we could break up over this range, I want to see it break over this level before I would get in personally, just because there's so much better opportunity out there in the market right now. So we got Numi. So Numi is another shroom stock. So for those of you who know MMED and are closely tied on that, Numi is a lagger in this sector. So in the shroom psychedelic sector, we could say that MMED is the lead company, the lead stock. Why is it the lead? It's probably worth the most and it has the most attention towards it. So when that stock goes, expect Numi to go as well. Now, the thing that's cool about the lagger plays and the lagger stocks is that, say MMED pops, the lagger plays are going to give you time to potentially get in and still get some gain. So I like what I'm seeing here. We're dealing with a little bit of resistance at this $1.90 to $2 range. And that's where we're wicking from right now. We're seeing some price rejection from that area. So we could have something along the lines where we play inside of this triangle. And then once you see it pop with big volume, that's when we're going to go for the rip. So I like what I see here on Numi. If you feel like, oh man, I'm too late to get into MMED, check out Numi, right? It could give you some great potential. I don't necessarily think it's a worse buy than MMED or a better buy. It's just another company in this sector that is giving us a potential opportunity that's about to come up. So keep Numi on the watch list. I like this one. We have Acdc. This is a vehicle company of some sort. I do not like this chart at all. It's not really giving us anything promising here. There's not a very large uptrend established. And this is a very big area of confluence, right there. And if we look, that's exactly where we're wicking from. Now, am I saying that there's no opportunity here? No, there could very well be some opportunity, just not for me personally. I am very picky with my investments and my trading. So when it comes to stocks, it has to be what I like to see, or else I'm not putting my money in it. If you happen to be investing in it, let me know how it goes. Shoot me a message, because it could very well give you some great opportunity. There's showing some rejection here. And another thing I don't like at all, you see the volume? Like, there's literally no volume on this chart at all. And then one day, all of a sudden, there's absolutely massive volume. I feel like that's telling me that, like, somebody knows something, which means that somebody, when they're ready to take gains, this thing is going to absolutely dump like it did before, two times already in the past. So just be careful when you're playing names like this, when they randomly get big spikes in volume. NOM. This is another name that it's a good example of a quick trend change. Like if you look here, here's our our regular head and shoulders pattern is right here. And this is the neckline. We have the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, right? So this is telling you that there's going to be a change in the trend. So the stock was making big moves to the upside, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a lower low than the previous one, a lower high, and then we start the downtrend. I don't really like this name. If you're looking for something in this name, I would be absolutely dying to see some sort of price action in this range. Like, I want to see there be a reversal right now, because then there is potential for it to go to the upside. But until you see strong bull volume and a strong confirmed reversal that happens to also break through these levels, these previous highs, lower highs that we're seeing, we're gonna have to break through all these levels before we on our way up to the previous high. I'm not really too bullish on this name. Am I saying there's no opportunity? No, there's definitely potential opportunity on this name. It's just not one that I'm interested in. We got Peloton. Now, Peloton, what a beast. Look at this name. Look at this name, man. Just steady uptrend. following the 8 EMA. It's looking super bullish. When we go on the daily time frame and give it a look, we happen to, from the bottom of March, we happen to make 600% gains. And then what happened is we made a nice correction to the downside. Now check this out here. When we use the Fibonacci retracement level from the low to the high of the move, where does the price come down to? From the low to the high, it comes back down to the golden pocket on the Fib retracement. That's bullish, man. Like, it was telling us on this day from the tweezer bottoms that we seen right here that this price was going higher. And then from there, it happened to go a nice 80% higher. This has been a great stock to be in if you're in it. I don't happen to be in this one, but I definitely think there's still more opportunity to come. As you could see, this was our previous supply zone going across. It happened to break over it, and now we seem to be using it as a demand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like a bunch of wicks off of this area, and it seems to be establishing a base in this area. That is very bullish. We want to see now big green bull volume coming in, and we want to see our price break up towards the first or second target here on the Fib extension tool, which would be above $200. Right now our base is at 145 to around 155. And it's starting to build some sort of a triangle in there too, if you really look at it. So we got this like a triangle wedge pattern breaking down in here. So this is bullish to see. Another good stock if you're planning on looking for a nice good swing trade or a long-term hold. We have NLS. So if you're into Peloton, you'll like NLS as well, because Peloton is like one of those indoor bike gym companies or whatever. NLS is the company that develops Bowflex and other at-home workout equipment. Now let's think about this. At-home workout equipment was in huge demand in 2020 due to the COVID crisis in the pandemic situation. We all were locked in. We pretty much were all looking for at-home gym equipment, right? These two companies throughout 2020 were delivering it. Now here we have NLS with earnings coming up on February 22nd. I'm leaning towards there being a bullish earnings on this stock just because of the sheer demand that was in place last year with all this gym equipment, right? I think it's super bullish. We have a nice cup and handle pattern with the breakout, retesting our previous supply zone, making sure it's demand. We're getting some wicks coming out of the demand zone here at around $27 a share. Now, if we want to see where can this potentially go, well, let's check our Fib extension. We will move it from the low to the high to the furthest pullback. We've at least got our first target at $33. So if you want to get in now, it's not a super large trade, 15%. Which is still nice, but if it happens to get to our second target here, our second target gives us a nice 30% trade. I think it's coming. You might want to give it some time, but as long as it's riding the 8 EMA, using it as support, has a bullish earnings, I think we're going to be pushing $40 range. And Fvrr, that's hilarious, dude. The intro for this video is a Fvrr intro. So let's go. Look at this, man. Like, let's go on a weekly time frame here. This uptrend is absolutely astounding. Just huge uptrend. It's been ripping, and it shows no sign of stopping. Like, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, we broke up to the $195 range, and we started to use that area as a demand zone, right? We happened to break up towards 280, and then when we corrected back to the downside, where did we go? We went to the previous demand zone to make sure it was still a demand. Prices got bought up from here. We got shot up. Now what we want to see is this area now. If price happens to come back down, we want to see this now act as demand, because it was our previous resistance or supply zone, right? So I really like Fvrr. I think this stock is looking great. I think this is one of those that in 5 years, when we see it at 1,000, don't be surprised, because it's just an absolute beast. The content and quality of their products on the website, it's awesome. It's a great website. It kind of reminds me of Shopify in a way. Like, Shopify is one of those stocks where it just keeps going higher, and then before you're like, oh my god, like, why didn't I buy into this like 3 months ago? Well, it's really never a bad time to buy if you're trying to time it. I mean, it would be great to get a pullback, but I honestly don't think you're in bad shape if you buy in at any point on this chart for a long-term hold. So there's this week's ticker breakdown. If you got any tickers that you're interested in and you would like for me to break down next week, leave a comment down below. We're going to get that going on a weekly basis. So I'm looking forward to all of that. Cheers, guys.